I bought the worst gaming PC that has no graphics card inside of it and optimized it for maximum FPS. Okay, so this right here is the Temu gaming PC that I bought literally just a few days ago, and this PC was actually $800, so it wasn't one of those super cheap Temu gaming PCs. And for $800, this thing is definitely really disappointing. Like, this Temu gaming PC literally doesn't even have a graphics card inside of it. Basically, I had to play games with Radeon graphics that was actually built inside of the CPU. So yeah, definitely trying to optimize this thing will be a really hard task. I might even honestly buy a GPU just to put inside of this gaming PC and see if we can go ahead and increase the FPS from there. Now, literally just a few months ago, I did optimize a gaming PC from Temu as well. And I think originally it only got around like 110 FPS. But after fully optimizing it, I did get it close to 200 FPS. So there's definitely really high hopes for this Temu gaming PC to still perform really good after I do a bunch of registry tweaks and optimizations to it. And yeah, here is the Temu gaming PC. You guys can already see from like the GPU slot, there is no graphics card inside. I think the CPU that's actually inside of this PC is built for running on Radeon graphics as well, which I believe is like the G part of the CPU name. But yeah, nonetheless, here is the $800 Temu gaming PC for those who haven't seen it yet. It's definitely a really good gaming PC aesthetically, but like the performance on this thing is just complete garbage. I think this thing was running at around like 60 to 70 FPS in an actual game on literally like all low settings, 720p at like 60% 3D resolution. The frames of this gaming PC is just super inconsistent. But let me go ahead and just quickly show you guys the specs that this PC actually has. Since for people wondering, for an $800 gaming PC, you would expect definitely a lot better specs. But I mean, since this thing is from Temu, I definitely just got completely scammed. Okay, so taking a look inside of this gaming PC. First off, the CPU is the Ryzen 5 5600G, which like I said, I believe it is a CPU that could be ran with Radeon graphics really well. But regardless, the frames and performance from the CPU on this gaming PC is just completely garbage for your gaming experience. Since if you guys take a look, we are missing a graphics card, and I might honestly just place like a mid-tier graphics card inside of this PC, do like a small little upgrade for this PC, and hopefully it boosts its performance. But before that, I am going to optimize this gaming PC and see if we can increase the FPS while running with this CPU. And then taking a look at the RAM, we have one stick of 16 gigs of RAM. I believe it is DDR4 memory, so pretty solid. Thank God this thing wasn't 8 gigs of RAM. And then for the storage, we do have 512 gigs of storage. And then obviously we have the 5 case fan. Like, yeah, this PC is definitely really good looking, but for the performance, this thing is just complete garbage. If you guys ever wondered how pros always get 0 ping and never complain about lagging, well, I have the perfect solution for you guys. Well, it's through an application called ExitLag, which helps lower your latency and your ping and optimize your data routes for the best connections. It's a really easy application to use. You first simply just look for the game you want to optimize, and with hundreds of games to choose from ranging from Fortnite, Call of Duty, and even Valorant, once your game is selected, ExitLag does all the work for you using AI route optimizations, dynamic stabilizers, and a diagnostic center, giving you the best connection possible and having no problems when gaming. I truly love ExitLag as it provides me with a more stable connection, giving me less latency and also eliminating low ping. What's also amazing is you could try out ExitLag with its 3-day free trial. There's even different plans where if you guys get your friends, you guys could save even more money. And also, if you guys use code KING, you guys could also get an extra discount. So make sure to check out ExitLag, which will be the first link in the description if you guys are interested in lowering your ping and lowering your latency. Let me first just show you guys the performance that this PC gets with no optimizations. And for $800, you guys are literally going to be super shocked. So yeah, if you guys take a look at the specs, you guys can see the AMD Ryzen 5 5600 GT with Radeon graphics. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this CPU is actually a CPU that's used without a graphics card. So if I go into Fortnite and check out like the graphics preference, you guys can see we have the AMD Radeon graphics as our graphics. Now first, taking a look look at the max FPS this PC could actually get without doing any optimizations whatsoever, we are pushing at a solid close to 144 FPS, which I mean for $800 is definitely not the best. And it's honestly pretty inconsistent. You guys can see it slowly dropping down to like 90 FPS. Now those frames are definitely not too bad, but once I start building, I mean, this thing is dropping down to like 60 FPS. And I don't even know like what's going on with this PC, but when I connect my keyboard to this PC, it's just like super unresponsive. I don't know what's going on with this PC, but as you guys can see, as I'm building, this thing is dropping down to like 60 FPS with like a ton of delay. Oh my, bro. This thing is like horrible. We're running at about 60 to 70 FPS as I'm building. Yeah, this experience is just really bad. I am on all low settings, as you guys can see, which should be the bare minimum, but right now we're running at about like 50 FPS. 50 FPS. And this is in creative too. Like if this was in game, I guess it's like pretty expected, but this is in creative and there's just, I don't even know what's going on with this PC and my keyboard. I don't know, but this thing is just really bad. Like on average, we're running at about like 85 FPS, but literally anything, as you guys can see, it just completely drops down to like 60 FPS. So let's go ahead and see how much FPS we can get from fully optimizing this Temu gaming PC, which is literally the worst PC you could buy on Temu. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna be doing is just tweaking up the window settings, basically having the most optimized window settings and also disabling random things that we don't need that might be running in the background like startup apps. And I always start off by just going into the game mode settings. So go ahead and go into game mode. And I'm pretty sure by default this thing is on, so we should be good from there. But right under it, we have like the graphic settings. So click on that. And we're basically just gonna add Fortnite into the custom settings for applications. It should just be in the program files. You should see Fortnite, go into Fortnite game, binaries, Win64, and it should be right here, Fortnite client Win64. Go ahead and just add that in. You should see it pop up right here. And then from there, we can change the GPU preference and set it on high performance. Even though we are running with the Radeon graphics, we're still gonna put it on high performance. Next thing is our core isolation. Basically, you guys want memory integrity on, and you should be good to go from there. Next up, we're gonna quickly go into our power plan and just create the highest performance power plan for this PC. Right now, we have it on balanced, which basically balances performance with energy consumption. But we're just gonna go ahead and create a power plan that completely uses its power, which is this one right here, high performance, which favors performance but uses more energy. Make sure to have this thing on never to create, and we should be good to go from there. And quickly, we're just gonna take a look at all the startup apps that this PC actually has. Since a lot of these things are literally just running in the background while I'm actually playing Fortnite, let's go ahead and just honestly disable all of these. There's no reason to actually have any of these, I'm not gonna lie. And there we go, we have all these disabled. Next up, go into gaming and into captures. On default, this thing is on for recording your gameplay. So you guys basically want to turn that off. Make sure to just turn all these off as well. We're not gonna be recording anything which takes up memory and also slows down your performance when you're actually gaming. Also, going back into our graphics settings, make sure to have optimizations for Windows games. Even though we're not gonna be playing on windowed, I'm just gonna have this on since it already optimizes your game when you actually load it up. Next thing, we're just gonna completely change how Windows looks like. It's honestly gonna be looking really bad after you actually change these settings, but it does give you an FPS boost, so it doesn't really matter how Windows will look if we're getting more performance. And in the performance option, all you gotta do is just click on adjust for best performance, which basically just unchecks all these things right here. And all these basically just make your windows look better, making the text more clear, all that stuff. But we're literally just turning it all off, so let's go ahead and click on that. And since this PC is running Radeon graphics, we do have the AMD software that's actually installed into this PC. And inside of the software actually has an FPS boost section. So let's go ahead and quickly go into the software. At the top, let's go ahead and go into performance and go into tuning. And I'm pretty sure we can go ahead and automatically overclock the CPU. So let's go ahead and click on that. I'm not reading all this, click accept, and then go ahead and click on proceed. From there, it's basically just gonna already restart your PC. So let's go ahead and come back once this thing is actually back. Okay, so the CPU is now overclocked, and I'm pretty sure this application does have other things to to boost your FPS. Like we can go into the gaming settings under advisors, which basically just sets all the settings to like a gaming performance thing. And then at the top, we can also go into gaming, go into Fortnite. And then from here, I'm pretty sure it just gives you like the best optimal performance settings for Fortnite. But let's just go ahead and set it under gaming in the graphics profile, since the rest of these settings honestly do not give you a performance boost. And then obviously the last thing we want to do is update the drivers of this CPU. Having outdated drivers are definitely a huge reason why we are getting horrible performance. So I mean, let's go ahead and just download the newest drivers. Should honestly boost our FPS literally just from that. All right, so the next thing we're going to be using is kind of a 2-for-1 application. It does boost your FPS, but it also decreases your ping by a lot. It basically just completely reduces your latency as well. Okay, the drivers also just finished downloading, I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, it's still downloading, but yeah, we're going to be using this application. It's called ExitLag. And also the AMD drivers finished downloading, so let's go ahead and restart the PC as well. So basically ExitLag could decrease our ping, but if you guys go over here, there's also an FPS boost section, which is just really cool, since ExitLag does also provide some tweaks to actually boost your FPS. First off, let's just go into high performance for the system performance enhancements. Just go ahead and click on that, click yes. And honestly, I would just suggest turning on all of these tweaks. And there we go. We have a bunch of these tweaks already optimized, enabled for this PC now. We have maximum performance for games, minimum priority for background processes, keep all cores active, which is definitely helpful since we're running through the Radeon graphics on the CPU. And it basically just keeps all the CPU cores active to maximize our performance. And yeah, we also have a bunch of other things like ultimate performance mode, which I'm not gonna honestly use because I've always used high performance mode on more low-end PCs. And I actually seen that it helped more compared to the ultimate performance mode. So yeah, this thing does boost our FPS and also lower our ping, which is definitely gonna be really helpful. Now, next up, I completely forgot about it, but let's go ahead and go into our Epic Games launcher. And we're basically just gonna turn off high resolution textures, which should be already on its default right now. So go into the 3 dots, go into option, and yeah, you guys can see high resolution textures is checked and pre-downloaded stream assets is not checked. So you guys want to click on this and disable this, click on apply, and you should be good. Next up, go and find the Fortnite exe file, basically the same way we found it for the graphics preferences. And once you guys find it, you guys want to go ahead and go into its properties, go into compatibility, and just make sure to have this program on run program for Windows 8, which is the highest over here. And also make sure not to have disable full screen optimizations on. Once you have that, click on apply, click OK. And next up, this application right here called Hone, which basically just fully optimizes your Windows PC. It has a ton of tweaks for you guys to actually use. First off, let's just go ahead and download Hone first. And I'm pretty sure for Hone, we could use up to like 10 free optimizations from like 100 tweaks to choose from. So definitely gonna be really helpful. There are a bunch of network tweaks to like FPS boost, all that stuff. And it also gives you a brief description of what it actually does. So it's definitely gonna be really helpful for you guys to understand what tweaks to use and what not to use. And also another thing is the fans are definitely a lot louder on this PC now for some reason. After applying all those tweaks, the fans are definitely acting up. So we have Hone opened up now. Let's go ahead and go into the optimization. And I mean, you guys can already see there are a ton of optimizations for you guys to actually use. But for most people like me, I'm gonna be using the free version of Hone, which only I think allows us to use 10 free optimizations. And I always suggest you guys just first start off with the general Windows optimization. So go ahead and enable that. Quickly scroll down a little bit and you guys want to go into disabling hibernation, which is a power saving feature on Windows, which basically just completely slows down your performance. So go ahead and enable that as well. Enable our gaming optimization. Disabling unnecessary Windows services. Really helpful since previously I did do it manually by going into services and finding all like the unnecessary Windows services. From here, it's just literally one click. Disabling our Xbox services. Yeah, since I literally do not use any Xbox services, we can go ahead and disable that. Next up is optimizing our AMD settings, which is designed for AMD processors. And since we do have a AMD CPU that we're using with the Radeon graphics, this is definitely gonna help. So go ahead and enable that as well. And also disabling Windows power throttling. It basically just adjusts like the power usage. We do not want that when you guys are actually wanting more performance. And we can also go into the boost up junk cleaner on Hone and just basically clean out this Windows. Even though there's not not much on this PC, we can go ahead and just do that as well. All right, now lastly, we're just gonna end it off by using an ultimate Windows utility, which is gonna be the Titus tool. I literally use this so many times since it's so helpful, and you guys literally do not need to download anything at all. It literally runs completely from your PowerShell. Go ahead and copy down this one command, go into your Windows PowerShell, make sure to run it as administrator. From there, paste in that command, click on enter, and it should just run this Titus tool just from the PowerShell. And it's honestly really easy to use the Titus tool as well. It just pops up just like that, and we can go ahead and go into tweaks. And I suggest you guys just go ahead and click on standard, which basically just checks all of these standard essential tweaks. And then from there, we can go ahead and just click run tweaks. And it's literally that easy. Basically just wraps up any other tweaks we need to use for this PC that I haven't done already. And you guys can see it just runs directly from the PowerShell. It's running all the registry tweaks and its script. And from there, your PC is just fully optimized just from this application. So yeah, once this is done, I'm gonna restart the PC and see if it boosts our FPS for this PC. We had the CPU overclocked and we ran a bunch of registry tweaks, so hopefully the performance is definitely a lot better for this PC now. All right, now taking a look at the FPS that we can get on this Temu gaming PC after fully optimizing it. If you guys take a look at the FPS, there is definitely some huge improvements. We're getting about 225 FPS right now, and it's pretty consistent. We're still getting around like 200 as I'm looking around at different places. So yeah, we just boost the FPS from this PC around 90 FPS, which is just crazy. Like for the most part, the frames are definitely pretty consistent at around 144 FPS. We're not getting any frame drops down to 60 FPS like we were getting previously. Yeah, as I'm building right now, we're still getting about like what, 170, 140. I think the lowest I've seen it drop to was only like 140 FPS, which is just crazy. This thing is not even dropping below 100 FPS anymore. But other than that, I mean, the max FPS is definitely a lot higher and we're getting more consistent FPS. Definitely a success.